In this blendedschools.net tutorial, we'll look at linking a Wimba Classroom archive to a Blackboard class. The first thing you'll need to do is find your way to your Wimba Classroom, whether it's linked to in your course. You want to head there. Rather than going to the Enter Room option, what you're going to do is look at the Wimba Classroom screen and find the archive listing. You'll find it toward the bottom of the screen. And every time you record an archive, it'll be displayed in this list, and they're displayed in chronological order with the earliest at the top and the latest at the bottom. And there are a couple of things that you'll want to do to make linking your archive easy. So first of all is we're going to edit the name of the archive. The archive is by default called the name of your Wimba Classroom and then the date and time that the archive was completed. And you can change that name by going to the Edit Archive Settings button here, the pencil tool. And here we can change the name. Giving the archive a unique name will help you out because the more archives you have, the longer a list of archives you'll have to choose from when it comes to linking them. So you give it some sort of unique name. So if I were to call it, for example, I could put an asterisk and I could put marks class archive 1 because maybe I'm going to have some more at a later date. And then all I need to do is click submit to make my change. And then I have some options. I can choose to enable chat in the archive. So if I have more than one person viewing my archive at one time, they could chat to each other. I can choose whether my archive is guest accessible or not, which means I could send a web link to somebody that does not have a blendedschools.net Blackboard username and password, and they'd be able to view the archive. And I also have some options about exporting in MP3 and MP4 format. Those are more advanced options that are not covered in this tutorial. And once you've made your changes and you've set your preferences, you just click Submit and click OK. So there you've changed the name of your archive. Now you want to make sure that your archive is available. If you look under the Access column, you'll want this light to be green. If it's orange with the line through, you just click the orange light, click OK, and that will change it to green. It may already be green if you chose to set your Wimba Classroom settings to automatically open archives. Now your archive is ready to link. The next thing you need to do is link it to an area of your Blackboard class. So now you're going to head to the area of your Blackboard class where you want these archives to be linked. So this would be a content area or a content folder, anywhere that you have the 4 content authoring buttons. And you're going to go to Add Interactive Tool, and you're going to select Wimba Classroom. When you get to the Wimba Classroom linking screen, you have options to link to a Wimba Classroom page, create a new room, or you'll notice here the option to select an archive. The more archives you create, the longer this list will get, and that's why the unique naming is helpful. For example, I put an asterisk in front of the name of my archive there so I could easily spot it in the list as I scrolled through. So I'm going to select the name of my archive, click Submit. This will take me to the linking screen where I can choose things like the color of my link and availability settings. And then I just click Submit. One final OK, and my Wimba Classroom archive is now linked to my Blackboard class. For participants to view the archive, all they need to do is click on the Wimba Classroom link. This will bring them to a screen that's very similar to the Wimba Classroom screen. The only difference here is that they're viewing an archive. So you'll notice that the button says Enter Archive instead of Enter Classroom. Students can then enter the archive. Archives look very similar to a standard Wimba Classroom. The only difference is for the participants is that they are going to have a rectangular area here on the right. So load up in a second. And this area allows them to jump around in the archive. There are time markers to the right, and they can select any one particular time in the archive to watch that particular time, or they can use the play head down here to play the archive, and they can also pause the archive. And when they're done viewing, all they need to do is close out the window. So that's how to set up and link a Wimba Classroom archive to your Blackboard class, and thanks for watching this blendedschools.net tutorial.